So I want you to see how you don't see anybody over here. That's a group stalker that's at the dumpster. Kumli is engaged in positioning. That's a group stalker. That's a demon. Okay. And that's for purposes of being around and crossing path. You don't see anything nearby, but inside of my office, the entity is amplifying the volume. This is what a demon operating a universal waste vehicle is doing as well. It's amplification. It is as demonic as you seeing the sunrise and the sunset while I'm at the same property. It is as demonic as a demon being in the laundry room, slamming, opening, and closing machines at the same time while you're in a different room, and they know exactly what you're doing. That's a demon. Okay, and they're monitoring in concert while the entity is surrounding with helicopters and the volume is turned up in volume. That's how demons are targeting. And you also know that they're targeting because they're literally flying over me. They're literally flying over my office. They're literally flying over my apartment. Okay. And you also recognize targeting because the same time I'm doing things on the internet, the entity is immediately creating audible activity, immediately flying over. Okay. This is called terrorism and it's on the watch of Dominic Choi. It's the state's criminal system. And that's why it's occurring in LA. I've already documented this criminal system in an entirely different region. All right. And this is the grounds of what is, removal from positions of chief of police who are engaged in state surveillance, engaged in terrorism, and that is an impossible occurrence of what is amplification while that demon's doing nothing other than flying in circles, targeting me and at a distance with the amplification, and you have a demon, Kum Lee, who's in relevant position, loitering at the dumpster for purposes of crossing path, okay? Also engaged in federal stalking. All right, it's not just LAPD, LA Fire. I've also documented the red helicopters. The entity is using helicopters in general. These demons in these positions of the state, targeting with audible activity. They're practicing that which is of the satanic. And they're in positions of government using things such as helicopters. This is understanding what is serving for the demilitarization of the state that is engaged in what is terrorism. Okay, law enforcement agencies in California, no, you take away the tanks. You don't give them tanks. You take away their bazookas. You take away their helicopters. It's not serving to protect American citizens. It's serving to give them more equipment, which is serving for literally a war that they're engaging against American citizens. They're engaging in war for no legitimate purpose. They're targeting at a great distance. You see nobody here, but inside of my office, it's amplified in sound. That's how demons are targeting. In the same way you see impossible light inside of my office and inside of my apartment, impossible occurrence of a light source. There is never at any time of day going to be a sun, by the way, over UC Irvine while you see it rising and setting in alignment to me and my apartment here. Pay attention when I'm talking about the organization, the organizing, and the so-called protests, and they're presenting a certain narrative to you. Those are the people of the state creating such reckless lawlessness, providing grounds for what is these law enforcement, these demons that are a part of corrupt law enforcement agencies that are preparing for war against American citizens. That's the reality of it. You're dealing with what is spiritual, and they have the spirit of Satan over them, and they're targeting me with the audible activity while these demons are pacing all around at such a distance you can't see them, but they're targeting me with the audible activity of it inside of my office. Okay, that distance shouldn't be something that's creating an unreasonable nuisance. Period. That's capturing the demonic right there. Okay. It's P.O.C. It's currently at 9:35 a.m. It's not just the LAPD. I've shown you and I've documented the Ontario Fire Department. Okay. Group stalking using their helicopters, using their vehicles as well. The entity using the law enforcement that use their helicopters. I also want to be clear. You have even third parties that may have resources to use their helicopters. I'm not limiting what the entity. They use helicopters. Period. These demons are using helicopters to terrorize American citizens. Okay, you're going to permeate the light. I'm not just focused on Dominic Choi, who's losing his job. I documented the Fontana Fire Department. I documented the Upland Fire Department. Those demons are driving under a light source that's over me in the parking lot of the Upland Public Library, and you see engineered light, rich engineered light move all across the sidewalk. When is that ever happening when you're driving on the ground? Especially while the light source is over me. That's not the sun, while Universal Waste is being a demon and letting the whole world know about it, that they're stalkers in concert with LAPD, and engineered light moves all across that building. That's the same thing that a state actor, a fire department, is engaging in. That's the system of group stalking. Stalking with engineered light. Targeting with light, targeting with their activity creation. A demon flying a helicopter is targeting you through the sound of that activity, even at a distance. That's how you're witnessing the demonic. The fact that it's impossible that light appears above your head on your ceiling, that's witnessing the demonic. The fact that the sun is rising and setting while I'm staying at one address, you're witnessing the demonic. And those are demons stalking in helicopters. That's a demon loitering in relevant position in the dumpster, okay? That's literally, by the way, prophetic with regard to what's going on inside of her while she's loitering around a dumpster, okay? And I'm not trying to be funny, but I mean, you want to bow down to Satan. It's literally pathetic what a whole government's being exposed, engaged in. And when I'm referencing the government, I'm referencing all of the demons here. They're living at a specific environment. You're not exercising a constitutional right. You're going to be prosecuted like the terrorist that you are, okay? It is currently 9:37 a.m. That's P.O.C.